All right, so let's break down this race with our horse racing analyst. She has won more than 100 races and was really hoping for the Triple Crown. Naira jockey Maylan Studart is here. You really wanted to see a Triple Crown hope come to Belmont, but it just did not come to pass in this one.
It was very disappointing, Steve. I was so rooting for Nyquist, like half of the United States of America.
Right, of course.
If you weren't rooting for Exaggerator, of course, because 4 times he tried, never beat him, but now the 5th time's the charm, right? Yeah,
I think we all just love to see history, and to see back-to-back Triple Crown winners would have been amazing. But, okay, let's talk about Nyquist's run here. He had speed horses on either side of him, but I'd like to get your opinion as a jockey. How do you think Mario Gutierrez ran this race?
For the first 1/8 of a mile, when he got out of the gate, because the track was sloppy with a lot of water, I thought he did a great job at getting him up front, because Nyquist never had dirt in his face before. So he went for the lead and he took it. But then I'm like, just sit right there. Like, you know, when he did in the Kentucky Derby, when he went for the lead and then he took back right off the leader and let the leader do the dirty work, where they went faster than the Derby. And we had Exaggerator coming to make the run, so I was expecting that Mario Gutierrez would at least settle the horse. Instead, he went in a speed duel early in the race when he's supposed to save his horse with a horse that had no shot. Okay, so
it was not the right move for him to start off smartly and to leave as quickly as he could.
Well, he was on the 3 post, so he was on the inside, and the speed was on the outside too. There was a lot of speed in the race, but he didn't let the speed go, and he went. But at the same time, you got to give Mario credit, because Nyquist was very aggressive early too. He put his ears back. You know, he is a competitive horse. That's why he's never lost a race until today. So when that speed horse went, he went with him, and it was hard for Mario to take back too.
So Nyquist wanted to go, and it was just so difficult for a jockey when the horse wants to go, pins his ears back. It's so difficult to wrangle him back in, isn't it?
It's not only difficult, but you don't want to waste the horse's energy. If the horse is wasting that energy early like that, you want to settle him and not fight him. Because if you do fight him, then you're actually working against the horse.
I was going to say, so it wasn't exactly his strategy, but at some point he was like, well, this is what Nyquist wants to do. But the winner was Exaggerator. Kent DeSormo said that he got the perfect trip. I would like you to rate DeSormo's trip from 1 to 10. How did you feel his strategy played out?
Well, I have to give him a 10, even though I hate to give him a 10. But yes, because he did exactly what I thought he was going to do, coming off a loss in the Kentucky Derby. So Exaggerator can run early in the race, right? He had been running early in his races, in his first races from when he was a 2-year-old.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So now he's been taking him back and sitting him back. In the Kentucky Derby, he was sitting 17 lengths off of Nyquist, and he just missed by a length and a half to beat him in the Derby. So this time, what DeSormo did was, okay, let's stay closer. He was about an average of 7 lengths off the lead, in the pocket, on the inside, saving all the ground. The horse loves these conditions, these track conditions. The wet track loves it. So
and he was completely untouched almost.
Yes, because he was on the inside saving all the ground when everybody was on the outside, because people did think, watching the earlier races, that the inside wasn't great. But DeSormo, as a very world-renowned rider that he is, he's like, let me take advantage of it, like Calvin Burrell did it in the past.
There you go.
So he got to the pocket behind the leaders, and all he had to do is angle out and run. And Exaggerator finally had the perfect trip, because he did have the opportunity to beat Nyquist twice, but he had a difficult trip getting in trouble in between horses because he's running far back. Once in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year, he finished 2 lanes behind Nyquist after getting stopped at the top of the stretch while he was on the inside too.
Yeah.
And then in the Derby, when he had to weave around horses like threading a needle.
Right, yeah.
And he just missed. So he got it today.
Well, I'm curious about this, because Nyquist and Exaggerator, their trainers brought both of those horses out a week before this race. None of the other horses got there until Thursday. Is there such thing as a track familiarity?
There is.
Okay.
As a rider in New York, as a New York rider, especially at Aqueduct, when you see horses going from Belmont Park to Aqueduct and all the Aqueduct horses that are stable, they're run, they start winning. Why? Because they have the home advantage. The horses that are on the Aqueduct track have an advantage of knowledge of the track, knowledge of the angles of the track. So when you bring a horse to a new track early, you want them to get a feel of the track, of the surface, because every track in the United States is different. You want them to feel the surface, but you want them to get the angle of the track. And the jockey as well. The more you understand what you're running in, the more you have an advantage of understanding if your run at the quarter mile is going to make a difference, or if you should make your move at the 3/8, or if you should wait to make your move at the 8th pole even, like at Aqueduct.
Well, track conditions were certainly an issue. It was a sloppy track. As I said, there were 2 horses that lost their lives in the track conditions out there. Does there come a time when an owner will tell a jockey, just take it easy on this track, lay off a little bit?
Sometimes, because when they know the horse doesn't like the track. Some horses have feet problems, especially on a sloppy track. That can be a problem for horses. But those 2 horses that passed away today, one was actually after he took a win picture. So he was walking to the barn, and then the other one was on the turf. So nothing actually happened on the track. You know, it's not usual that you'll hear a trainer say, you know, spare your horse if you don't have an opportunity. Usually you want to ask your horse and you want to try to get the most out of him.
Okay, back to the racing here. Belmont, 1.5 miles, a couple weeks away here. It seems like it's going to be a 2-horse race. Nyquist and Exaggerator, who has the advantage?
That's if Nyquist even goes right to the Belmont.
So Nyquist might not even appear.
He might not go because he just lost this race today. Can he get the 1.5 miles? Remember, we were talking when he won the Derby. His biggest challenge is going the longest because he is a horse with tactical speed. Now, Exaggerator, I think he's winning the Belmont because he's a son of Curlin. Curlin finished 2nd in the Belmont. He's one of the greatest horses in history. An excellent sire, and he has the breeding to go along. So what I want to see is I want to see some Kentucky Derby horses come back and battle it out. I want to see Gunrunner, who surprised us in the Derby, finishing 3rd. I want to see Mo Heyman, who after a bad trip in the Derby actually made up 4th. And I want to see Exaggerator win. And if Nyquist comes in, then he's proving that he's a true sportsman.
Well, I was going to say, if DeSormo would have taken a different trip in the Kentucky Derby, we could have been talking about Exaggerator going for the Triple Crown, and looking forward to that. But we're going to be bringing you back for the Belmont to get your analysis of that.
My favorite track,
of course
Belmont
it
Park.
is. Your home track. Naira jockey, Maylan Studart, thank you so much for coming in.
Steve.
All right, stick around. We're going to be right back.